Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Tonight is opening night for Les Miserables at the Kennedy Center. POTUS will be there, VPOTUS will be there, and their respective first and second ladies will be there. I got to tell you, the Kennedy Center is been revitalized, honestly, from my perspective as someone who has lived and worked in the performing arts for decades now. From the groundbreaking premiere of The Revolution of Steve Jobs, an American original opera, to the critically acclaimed Porgy and Bess revival from the National Opera. And I saw the National Symphony Orchestra perform the very rarely done Mahler's Sixth. Just honestly, an incredible, that's just in the last few weeks at the Kennedy Center. And now tonight, it's going to make nationwide news as the red carpet is rolled out. It's a big night in Washington, D.C., and joining us to discuss it is the spokesperson for the Kennedy Center and friend of the program, Roma Daravi. I'm so excited for your new job at the Kennedy Center. Our listeners know you from coming on and giving your opinion, politics, and stuff like that, and here you are speaking on behalf of the great Kennedy Center. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Larry. It's always wonderful to be with you, and such an exciting day. Happy opening show day.
Yeah, it's pretty. Opening nights are always great, but tell me what it's going to be like, because it's. I don't think it's standard for the president and vice president and their spouses to go to an opening at the Kennedy Center. This is a big deal.
Absolutely. This is unprecedented, just like most things that President Trump gets involved with. He does bigger and better than what has ever been done before. And, you know, we are just thrilled. We're thrilled. And let me tell you, for all your listeners, Larry, if any of them decided to purchase tickets for this show tonight, the event will feature a red carpet that is not just open to the VIPs that are going to meet with the president. It is open to every single American patron who is going to the show tonight. So it's a very special evening. Think cool. Hollywood movie premiere. And it's just going to be a ton of fun. You know, we want to bring life back into the halls of the Kennedy Center.
Roma, this is so exciting and much needed, uplifting moment, not just for DC, but for the country. Can you speak a little bit, not to bring this conversation down, but there is this rumor that there's been all these, you know, walkouts and that artists don't want to be involved. Talk about that, because this looks like an incredible show and everybody's very excited about it. You know, just talk a little bit about this attempt to sort of be Debbie Downers about it, by the left, of course.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's to be expected from what we would call the Hollywood elite. This is a top-tier show, and so you do have people involved that feel the need to bend a knee to the left and to make that political statement. But fortunately, as they say in the industry, the show must go on, and the show is certainly going on. We have a very exciting sold-out show, by the way, that's happening tonight. And really, the first 2 weeks of the entire 5-week run of Les Mis at the Kennedy Center is nearly sold out. So it's doing extremely well.
Wonderful.
There is a ton of support from the patrons. And this is something that we're seeing with a lot of our programming. You know, contrary to what the mainstream media will tell you, our events are selling out. We had an event on June 1st, sponsored by the Museum of the Bible. It was a screening of the blockbuster film, The King of Kings, which is, of course, about the life of Jesus. And it was completely sold out. We had to add an entire second show in order to meet the demand. And so that's what you're going to see from this new leadership. You're going to see fundraising beyond belief, which starts tonight with President Trump holding a fundraiser in his personal capacity, by the way. He is doing this not as the president. He is doing this as Donald J. Trump, and he is doing it, and every single dollar that's raised this evening is going to the Kennedy Center. It's going in order to better this arts institution.
That's huge. And Ambassador Rick Grinnell, of course, is overseeing the operations of the Kennedy Center, and he's announced a couple of things. First of all, can you speak a little bit about the fiscal health of the Kennedy Center? Because it's been running at a deficit. I'm it always amuses me. You come from the performing arts world. For those who don't know, Roma used to be a prima ballerina. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And she's always on point when she comes on our program. Thank you very much. But it's so funny that people from the performing arts world think that there's something wrong with an organization trying to balance its budget. I kid you not. Friends of mine in the theater world is like, look at what Rick Grinnell's doing at the Kennedy Center. He's trying to balance their budget. Like that's a scandal.
Exactly. Yeah, you and I both spent many decades in the performing arts, and although it is a quote-unquote nonprofit, the Kennedy Center is, it does not mean we should have no profit, and it certainly doesn't mean we should be in $100 million operating deficit. So that is just a wowzer number. People cannot believe it when they hear it out loud. Not to mention the way that the former leadership was misleading the board members with these financial reports. They were changing the way that they were calling particular buckets of money, and as those buckets of money shrunk, they would move it and change the name. So it was very confusing for very, very smart, capable people to follow when you have one meeting a year. You don't necessarily memorize exactly the titles and the way that they're labeling all of these different buckets of money.
Yeah.
And it really just got lost in the process. I mean, $26 million unaccounted for. We're really not sure what to make of it at this point.
Outrage.
Heard Ambassador Grinnell say that he would like to see the DOJ look into this. We do have Attorney General Pam Bondi on our board. She also will be there this evening. So that's breaking news for your listeners today.
Wow.
We have Pam Bondi there this evening. Yes, we also have Scott Bennett there this evening. So a couple cabinet secretaries that will be walking that red carpet, talking to the press, and I'm sure you'll hear from a lot of other patrons as well. But the fiscal responsibility that you mentioned, Larry, it is a priority for this president. And who better than to raise money for America's institution of the arts than Donald Trump himself? And of course, Ambassador Rick Grinnell is a legendary fundraiser. He does an amazing job helping California. And honestly, countries all over the world that he's worked with are flocking to the Kennedy Center asking how they can support us.
Well, I so wish I could.
With at the top, it's amazing.
I so wish I could be there tonight, but I just can't make it. But Meredith and I are itching to go later in the run. Thank goodness it's going to be there for a good, healthy run, Les Miserables at the Kennedy Center. And Roma, I just got to say, I'm assuming because of I know where you grew up and everything. I mean, you probably performed at the Orange County Performing Arts Center, right, in Costa Mesa, and that seemed like a big deal. And now here you are walking the stage of the Kennedy Center. I'm just so excited for you. And you must pinch yourself every day.
Thank you, Larry. Yes. You know, I did once upon a time perform at the Kennedy Center. I performed at the Segerstrom Center in Orange County, California that you mentioned. And I'll just give a quick shout out to this company that I grew up training with, Festival Ballet Theater, which is based in Southern California.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in the world of classical ballet, the skin is as thick as leather. So this city will not faze us. We will fight on.
All right, Roma, keep your head up, but keep it on a swivel. It's a tough town, as you know, but you're doing a great job. Thanks for joining us, and have a great opening. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Do you say that to ballet dancers? You probably don't say that to ballet, now that I think about it. That's a theater
thing.
But
We say merde.
Merde, there you go,
yeah,
merde.
It's French.
Merde, oh gosh, if the FCC knows what merde means, I'm in trouble.